Hi, I'm Brian Schmidt. I am a mechanical design engineer with Exlar, and today I'm going to show you how to parallel mount a motor to an FTX 95 actuator. So to start, we remove the rear cover that is installed with the shipment. So we're going to take this off to get the back end of the actuator. So move the cover and set this to the side. So now you can remove the idler from the motor plate to give you some more room when mounting the motor. Take off the adjusting nut here and the washer and set this to the side. Now we can mount the motor. So we supply the gasket with the kit, place the gasket on your motor, and now have a little assistance in mounting this up. We also supply the mounting screws along with the actuator. So put it into position, set it centered on the pilot, and just start the screws into the motor plate, like so. Thank you. So now you'll torque the motor mounting screws to the values found in your service manual and here. With that, you're now ready to mount the motor pulleys. So we'll start with the lower actuator pulley. In this we use the taper lock bushing system that can be used with or without key, and place this onto the actuator input shaft. Set it in the approximate position, but do not tighten the set screws at this point. We'll then mount the motor pulley using the same bushing system, which can be used with or without key, and place this on the motor shaft. So now we're ready to mount the belt in position. Start with this wrapping on the lower pulley and extend it up to the motor pulley, making sure to engage as many teeth as you can. So now we need to remove the sealing screw from the motor plate. This sealing screw hides the adjusting set screw for the idler system. We want to back this out by a few turns to give us some more clearance for the belt. Now we can insert the idler onto the T-bolt. Place the washer over and the T-bolt nut, but keep this loose. Do not torque this at this point in time. Now I'm going to use a ruler and keep the pulleys adjusted away from the motor plate by approximately 8 millimeters. 0.3 inches, and move the pulleys into their approximate position while keeping the belt spaced equally between the top and bottom pulley. You can then torque the taper lock bushing set screws. And the final torque on these can be found in the service manual or located here. And now we can adjust the belt tension. So there are two ways to tension the belt. We can use the sonic tension method or the belt load deflection method, both of which are described in the service manual. I'm going to show you how to tension the belt using the sonic tension meter method. So to start, we gradually increase the belt tension, taking up any excess slack in the belt until the belt starts to tighten up. all while keeping this nut loose. We then set our sonic tension meter to frequency and measure. Now we check the back side of the belt and see what our reading is. So we're at 99.7 hertz, and in the manual we specify a minimum of 137, so we need to go a little bit tighter. Just a quarter of a turn or an eighth of a turn could be all it takes. So we're still a little bit low, but we're approaching the appropriate tension. At this point, we want to then tighten the idler to its final value. Because the idler pulls against the motor plate and properly loads the backside of the belt, we need to check tension after it is torqued up to the proper spec. So now that the belt is properly tensioned, we can install the rear cover. Make sure to include the rear cover gasket. So you want to install the remaining cover screws and torque them in a cross pattern. Torque them to the value you find in the service manual and located here. Once that's installed, you'll then close up the motor plate by inserting the sealing screw that covers up the idler adjustment screw. Make sure you include this sealing washer. Insert this into the side of the plate, covering up the set screw. And once again, torque this to the value that you found in your service manual and locate it here. Now your actuator is ready to use.